So I came across this video on Monday, and based on what was being said in the video, it was very relatable. Like, I could relate, and I definitely understood both sides of the story. So I just decided, hey, I'm gonna react to this. So let's check the video out.
We talk about how hard it is to leave the good guy. When you say, I want a divorce, and he's like, no, I want to work this out. Everything's going to be fine. We can get through this. And he's so encouraged.
I will genuinely never understand this mindset. But of course, this is like a 2-minute video. So what else does she have to say?
Everything's just so fucking peachy keen, right? We talk about how I'm manipulated into staying because he's a good guy. He does nothing wrong. Like, the only thing he's guilty of is being lazy and not putting in effort like we did when we were in the beginning of our relationship, like any other marriage. He doesn't beat me, he doesn't do anything, he doesn't.
Women fall in love with the process of falling in love, and sometimes not even the person. Let me explain. The majority of women fall in love with the romantic side of a relationship where he's courting you, he's taking you on dates, maybe he's getting you gifts, he's putting in all of this effort to get you, and you expect him to continue this effort when life smacks you in the face, and it's an unrealistic expectation. Women have been brainwashed into believing that it's supposed to be Disneyland movie all of the time, and he is supposed to spend 95% of his time making you happy alongside working 60 hours. Maybe you added some kids in there, maintaining a house, and all of the things that they don't show you in a Disneyland movie. And the other part about it is so many women sit on the internet all day long and see everybody's highlight reel of what relationships are supposed to be like, so they start to believe that the grass is supposed to be greener on the other side. It is not manipulation if a man wants to work out a relationship with you. You should be thankful, because the majority of men that have an ungrateful partner at home would leave your ass and leave you with absolutely nothing and not want to try at all. And I can promise you, the dating scene that you think is going to be better is not going to be. It's the same story every single time. These women put unrealistic expectations on the men. Well, they still don't put in the same effort. They're not having as much sex. Maybe they're not cleaning the house as much. They're not even doing the same things they did to get a man, to keep a man. And the biggest mistake that women make is that they don't go for compatibility, or if they even like this person, they're so focused on, oh, he bought me flowers. Oh, he took me on a date. Oh, he spent $500 on me. They are never looking at the person for who he is rather than what he's doing in the relationship. And then they themselves because they wake up next to somebody after 10 years and they're like, who the did I marry? Because we don't get along. I don't like anything about this person. The person that he really is isn't the person that I fell in love with. And it's because you fell in love with the idea of him and not for who he actually is. Okay, bye.
All right, so we watched the video, run through it so that everybody can get, so you can get an idea of, what the story was about. So now we're gonna break it down piece by piece and give my 2 cents on why, this was so relatable to me. So let's go again.
We talk about how hard it is to leave the good guy. When you say, I want a divorce, and he's like, no, I want to work this out. Everything's going to be fine. We can get through this. And he's so encouraged.
I will genuinely.
If it's so, I don't get that. Like, I don't understand that. Like, if he's a good guy, why would you want to break up if the things that you're having issues for is really things that can be fixed? Like, I don't understand that. And I believe when they give an excuse like that or a reason like that for the breakup, I think it's bullshit. Like, just plain and simple bullshit.
Everything's just so fucking peachy keen, right? We talk about how I'm manipulated into staying because he's a good guy. He does nothing wrong. Like, the only thing he's guilty of is being lazy and, not putting in effort like we did when we were in the beginning of our relationship, like any other marriage. He doesn't beat me, he doesn't do anything, he doesn't.
So those are key words. And from my understanding and my experience, what I understand what she's saying, she doesn't love the guy anymore, or she never actually loved him, but she fell in love with what he did and the idea of him, or who she wants him to be. That's my understanding. Because what women don't get is that, yes, when the relationship is brand new, hormones are flying high, bro. So everybody is excited. Everybody's gonna put their best foot forward. Everybody's gonna show up, given that the attraction is mutual, right? But if it's a case where you guys are serious and your relationship is on a dynamic and on a path where you guys are going long term, these type of things are going to happen. It's going to happen, and it has happened in every long-term relationship. Like, people talk about, oh, I want to get married, oh, I want to have a long-term relationship, but yet they don't want to put in the work. As soon as shit hits the fan, bro, they run. Like, you have to understand, every day is not gonna be the same. You're gonna go through a period where you guys are sad, boring. You're gonna go through a process where you guys are growing and you're discovering more about yourself. And that's the beauty of it, because in a relationship you're not supposed to stay on the same level. So of course that relationship is gonna go through phases, and it's how you deal with those phases. Like, this is my mantra: never focus on the problem, focus on the solution. The problem is not me versus you, but it's me and you versus the problem. Once we stick to that mindset, we can go through anything. Because like she said, lazy and not putting much effort into the romantic aspect. Bruv, that's like all men that are serious. Like, what women don't understand is that when a man loves a woman, how he shows that is by preparing for the future. And what I mean is, when he understands that the relationship is getting more serious, he starts to do more overtime. He starts to, find other ways to make money. He starts locking in, maybe working 60 to 80 hours a week, probably looking into starting a business, probably trying to figure out some way to make your life easier down the road. That is how men that care show their love. And during those phases when they're really locked in, it's because they care and they don't want, if something should happen, you guys fall flat. That's how men are. That's how we are. That's how we show love. But women don't get that, man. The reason why most of the romantic stuff are feminine is because that's your nature as a woman. Like, during those times, there's nothing wrong if you pick up and say, hey babe, let's do this, let's go there, let's do that. Or I have this idea, let's do it. There's nothing wrong with that, because the emotional aspect of the relationship is mostly the female. And the physical or strength or the stability aspect is mostly on the male. And ladies, you have to understand this. If a guy really loves you and he takes you seriously and he wants a future with you, there is going to become a point in your relationship where he's locked into grinding, hustling, trying to figure out a way that will add some form of stability to your life and give you some insurance for the future. My personal example was, when the last person I was with, we were living together, and I had gotten my system a few months ago, and like, we had this talk, like, the electric bill was high, and we want to try to find a way to cut that down. But at the same time, we had an AC we wanted to use, and at the same time we wanted to, like, really cut costs, not let the bill skyrocket or whatever. Me, in myself, I'm thinking now, like, hey, how can I try to ease the stress off her? How can I, figure out a way to provide a way for us to enjoy what we want to, but at the same time not skyrocket our electric bill? And I came up with the idea of, okay, let us build our own solar generator, right? That was my idea, because I'm thinking in my head now, okay, so if we build this, then boom, we wouldn't need to have like electric electricity provider full time anymore, because guess what? We would have our own energy and we could use whatever we want, however long we want, right? Now, that is just one example. That's my personal example. I did that out of love and, trying to really provide a sense of stability. But women don't understand that your relationships won't always be happy, won't always be rainbows and sunshine. Whenever it gets tough, you shouldn't just get up and leave. Try to work through your problems, because the grass is never greener on the other side. It's only greener where you water it. And when you approach relationships with this mindset of, oh, it's too hard for me, I'm not happy, I'm too hurt, when you run away from that, it's going to manifest in your next relationship. And it doesn't matter what type of relationship it is, it will manifest. Try to exhaust every single option to fix your problems. Now, in that case, if you have exhausted every single option and nothing comes of it, then that is okay. I understand, move on. But try. I understand that it is hard at times. I get that. I know it is hard at times, because I've been there. I've had moments when I wanted to quit, but what I did was really just remember my mantra. Don't focus on the problem, focus on a solution, and work towards achieving that solution. That's really where it lies. That's why most of the breakups that happen, they're initiated by women. Most of the divorces that happen, they're initiated by women. Because women cannot withstand that emotional pressure of when things are going bad. They get easily stressed out, they worry a lot. And if they're overthinker, oh my God knows what's going on in their head, but yeah, I know it's tough. But the truth is, if you want a long-lasting relationship, overcoming your challenges is your best bet. Ask any couple that that has been together for over 5 years. They can tell you they have struggled, they have fought, they have had sleepless nights, and look where they are today. Those challenges that you face in your relationship, those are the challenges that prepare both of you for bigger obstacles later. And if you just up and leave every time a big challenge come up, what do you think is going to happen in your next relationship? Oh, you're thinking that, oh, I won't have the same problem with somebody else? That might be true, but you may have just end up in something worse, or another problem that makes you feel those intense feelings again. So I understand from both aspects, but try to understand from the male's perspective. It's not that we don't want to do the little things, it's just that from a man's perspective, it's natural for us to want to provide, and to provide we have to focus on the bigger picture. And that's why a lot of times we stop doing the smaller stuff and we focus on bigger stuff, because we're trying to provide stability for the ones that we care about. That is how we show our love. You guys need to really understand this.